Happy Monday. I'm Sarah. Thanks for joining me again. This is Monday, I don't know, something in March. And I haven't seen you for a while. Only your followers, 10 seconds, discussion, restricted. I don't know. I don't want comment moderation. Okay, we'll just assume it's okay. Um, I set this up a little bit differently today, so we'll see if it's okay. But hi, I missed you. Every Monday, I'm like, oh, I was gonna do a Facebook Live today. But today I finally did again. So it's been, I don't know, a couple of weeks, couple, 3, 6, I don't know. Hi, Liz. Okay, so it's working. Good. Um, Hi, Ellen. I wanted to get you caught up with the 9,000 projects that I've been working on. And you know what? That won't take long because I've been working on, I think, 2. Sorry, in those intervening weeks. Um, and I want to say, but maybe more because I can't remember what I showed you the last time. I need to start dating putting dates on my list of projects. But yeah, did, and then I also set up, finally got a list of classes up and I'm excited about them. I chose Tuesday evenings. Hi, Meg. How are you feeling? Hope you're okay. Um, I chose Tuesday evenings because I'm trying to find a time. My Saturdays are filled. I work at the shop on Sundays. I work at the shop Wednesdays and Thursdays, which left Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays. And I settled on Tuesday evenings. And we'll see how that goes. And by evening, I mean 6:30 to 8:30, because I don't want to teach till 9 at night. So we're just going to teach till 8:30. And hopefully that'll work for some of you. Apologies to Katie over there in Berlin who wanted to sign up but couldn't because it was 12:30 a.m. for her. So we'll figure that out. But right now I have 2 sweater classes going on Saturdays, and also I have I have a Stitches event coming up, which I'll tell you. There's 4 classes, 5, 6, some classes in Stitches coming up in April, and then I've got 4 of my own scheduled. But first, very exciting. Here's the list that I've been working from for since I counted them in front of you, since I shamefully, embarrassingly, counted them in front of you. So temperature blanket, haven't touched it. Is that true? I think that's true. Because I'm supposed to be doing some every day and I haven't done any in a really long time, but that's okay because I'll get cut back up. The Nashaw poncho that I've been making, with the if you're participating, sharing the knit along at Woven Art that I host on Wednesday mornings, lunchtime knit along, I declared stripes for the month of March because I wanted to knit this poncho, and I was making other people knit this poncho, or at least buy the yarn to knit this poncho too. Wow, it looks better on camera than it does in person. It just needs a good blocking because some of my stitches aren't super straight, but it's a nice woolly wool. So, hi Erica, yay! So when I'm done, I'm going to block it with a little bit of pulling this way so that the stitches even out. But it's brioche. And I finally made a little, I had it sort of in my head, except I kept forgetting which way to leave the contrast color yarn at the beginning and end of the row when you slip the main color yarn. So I finally made myself a cheat sheet, but you'll notice I messed up my cheat sheet and had to it's 4 rows. So, visual aids are good, but they do need to be correct. So it took me a little bit, but anyway, it's sort of off and running, except that I got to look at that, how pretty the bottom is. Oh my gosh. Yes, of course, now that it's finally going to warm up. I was on my walk today with Clara, freezing cold. It snowed a little bit last night when I got home from work. I honestly never know what coat to put on to go outside. So today I had on not a warm enough coat. And my neighbors were out walking and said, it's supposed to be 60 tomorrow. I said, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Like, what do you wear? I don't know if I have a coat for 60. I certainly didn't for today. It was 49 when I went out. at, Clara, when did we go outside? 3:30, maybe? You know, when it's supposed to be warmer. So that's the, oh, and then if you're playing along with the knit along, I'm going to declare, maybe if Meg's paying attention, she'll get the new info out, which means we're still going to do stripes in April because there's lots of stripes to explore. You can do garter stitch, or um, you can do garter stitch. You can do, I don't care what you do. You can do anything you want as long as there's stripes of texture or color happening, or just make up a story that has stripes in it while you're knitting, and you're good. But there's just a lot to explore, and a lot of our themes for the Woven Art Knit Along have had stripes, like the temperature blanket, and I'm blanking on all the other things we've done. But just keep working on the things you're working on if you want to join. If you want to join, you can send an email to the shop, and you'll get a link right before Wednesday at noon to join. It's a Zoom knit along. Okay, that was the plug for Woven Art. And what else was I working on? I'll talk about that in a minute. I let one of my projects go since the last time I saw you. In the beginning of COVID, in the beginning of the lockdown, a lot of us bought yarn to do the Breathe and Hope shawl from Casapinka. That was Casapinka's contribution to supporting your local yarn shop during the lockdown. And I love the colors that I chose, and they were playing together nicely. I was not enjoying knitting the shawl. So I finally, I let it go. It's in balls again, and I will find something else to work with it to use the yarn for. I just couldn't keep going. I wasn't in my happy place when I was working on that shawl. So I let that one go. Sometimes, I don't have time in my life for the things that aren't making me happy. So we're trying to make that would be me, are trying to make some decisions about letting some things go. So that was a minor one. I haven't let any major ones go, just FYI. Don't be scared. You all get to stay. There's a couple more I think I'm going to let go. They're just small. I barely started them. They'll just go back here in scarves. Scarves, mostly. Just not interested. I got another of my for hire things done. It was hilarious. A woman hired me to remove the name from a Christmas stocking. Usually I get hired to knit a Christmas stocking, and I fight it with all I'm worth, and I always end up doing it. And a woman hired me to remove the name from a Christmas stocking because someone in the family had two heirloom Christmas stockings, and they were getting a new member of the family. Someone was getting married. And so they wanted to remove the name from one of the duplicate older stockings. Excuse me. And they had a person who was going to put a new name in. So they didn't want me to put the new name in. And I said, okay. So I just cut and pasted the top of the stocking so that I cut off the top with the hanging loop and the bell. Didn't want to mess with that. And then I unraveled the part with the name, which had been done the way everybody does the, like kind of intarsia, intarsia fair isle hybrid thing. I can show you. Actually, let me show you. This isn't the stocking. Well, I lost it already. Isn't that fun? Here it is. Because this is mine that my mommy knit me back in, a couple years ago. And so she did what everybody did, which was kind of knit in the name. So it's kind of a Fair Isle intarsia thing. It's not really, it's that. Oh, I have a snag. Whoopsie. We'll fix that. So anyway, I tore that part out. It was the exact same stocking, by the way, because everybody made this stocking back in the day. And so anyway, I took off the top, put it on needles, cut it off, tore back the name, tore out the white part. It was red with white letters. So I took out the white yarn, pitched it because it was, and I re-knit with the red as much as I could, and then put the top back on. And it was like, I lost a row or something. It was great. And she came to pick it up, and she was like so excited. And she said, so by the way, the person who was going to put the name in can't put it in anymore. And the wedding shower is Saturday. This was on Sunday. So I had a week. So she asked me if I'd put the name on. I'm like, sure. So I duplicate stitched the name on. And it turned out okay. It turned out great, except that math was hard. I centered the name. This is way too long of a story, but I centered the name on the number of stitches in the ribbing. And I have the original pattern because I have one of the stockings, right? And there's no increases in the pattern between the ribbing and the, anyway, it wasn't centered. But she was okay with that, so it's fine. I was like, it's not centered. I did the math. So yeah, so that's done. Sorry. Well, just like Christmas stockings, that story went on way too long. Ha ha ha. Let's see what else. I have some other samples I'm going to show you that have to do with the classes that are coming up. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Did I tell you about the, okay, so I swatched, I know I had shown you a shirt that's somewhere that I want to make from my closet. And I don't remember if I showed you the swatch or not, but this is the swatch. This is the Malabrigo Verano cotton. It's a sport weight, but I got 5 stitches to the inch, so I'm going with that. And I have a, it's not solid, but a more solid blue as well. And then they're gonna go, the shirt was just right here. It probably is. I'll probably unearth it. Yep. I'll probably find it. But it has like a which line? Okay. A line that comes down, and so one side of the shirt is one color, one side's the other color, and so I'm going to duplicate that, replicate that with the Malabrigo Verano, the cotton. It's beautiful. It's prettier than I hoped it would be, so that's awesome. So I did that. I don't know if I showed you that before. And then I also don't know if I told you I bought yarn for another sweater and started it. I might have told you because I feel like somebody said they had, said they had seen the pattern before, but I'll show you again anyway. And I got this far and stopped because, you know, squirrel. But this is, of course, navy blue, and this is the back, and you can see through. I forget the construction, and I don't seem to have the pattern. So there you go. Isn't that fun? This is called Elton, like Elton John, by Jochi Locatelli, and it's a top down. Let's see. Why don't I have the pattern? I don't know. Maybe it's on my laptop or my iPad. It's top down, and the yarn I chose was Quince & Company Turn in the color ink because it was newly in the sale bin. It's dark blue, so you know, and it's wool and silk, so it has that little bit of sheen from the silk, and then Mighty Mo from Farmer's Daughter, which is it's like Kid Silk Haze, but it's not Kid Silk Haze, it's Mighty Mo. And that's in a blue that's almost as dark. And so it just is going to be stripes all the way down of these little 1/2 inch stripes. And it starts at the back neck. I don't know. Oh, I got it. It starts at the back neck and you work down to the bottom of the armhole. And then you pick up here and do the right front down to the bottom of the armhole, and then pick up here and do the left front down to the bottom of the armhole. And then you join it all and work the body down. Is it a cardigan? I think it's a cardigan. I forget, actually. Yes, it's a cardigan. I remember. And then you pick up and have hi Edie, and then you pick up these little very drop shoulder sleeves and knit them as long as you want. So I'll see how much yarn I have. But I don't know if I showed you that one before. And again, I have no idea where my pattern is. So, but I started that, got that far in like 2 days because I was really excited. And then I got distracted. So let me just check my other page. I got distracted by the, yeah, I don't think I worked on anything else. That's the Breeze and Hope that I let go. I got distracted by, I started knitting. God, Sarah. I started teaching the Killebrew vest class based on the Killebrew vest pattern from Denise Bell of Lost City Knits. And I might have shown you that last time. I don't even know when last time was. But it looks like, oh, I should have gotten the big picture. Oh, so here's a little picture. His name is Brian. So it's in that picture, the vest is 2 colors. And in this picture, and this is Denise, That's Denise's back end. That's 3 colors because she put a little bit of pop in it. There's the colors for hers, I think. And so I'm teaching the class as an introduction to people, for people who wanted to do Fair Isle. There's a little bit of not shaping. Oh, Sarah, pay attention. Steeking, the neck opening and the armholes, and then there's so we met once already, and they're swatching for their colors, and some pick 2 and some pick 3. I'm making extra noise, and I chose. I'm over 20. I have over 20 colors in mine, which I can show you right now. So I went full rainbow, and I've made it through. I have a 6-color rainbow going on, and I've made it through all 6 colors. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's my happy place. This is all I'm working on right now. And I can't put it down. So I just started the 2nd color repeat. So pinks instead of reds for some weird reason. Orange, yellow, green, blue. So technically it should have blue, indigo, violet, and blue and indigo. I didn't have that many different colors. I had this many different colors. And each of those stripes has 3 colors in it. You can see it in the orange, a light, a medium, and a dark tone. And then I have a bunch of neutrals. So each of these, every 6 rows, I'm going to say 6, I don't know, 5, you have that little blip either in the middle of the diamond or in the very middle of this little diamond there. I have like 5 neutrals I'm rotating because I have neutrals. And it started as leftovers from other projects I'd done, and then I filled in. And I showed you before. I know, Edie says, who are you and what have you done with my gray and purple person? So I also have a bag right there. You can't see it. Oh, you can see it. At the top, see the yellow and the red right at the top? Yeah, that's another rainbow sweater, which I think is going to be a wrap. I decided recently I think it's going to be a wrap. So I have 6, I think again, maybe 7 colors of Spinny from Isager yarns. Oh boy, I might be way off on that. And then I'm buying mohair to go with each of those colors. So not just rainbow, but fuzzy. Oh, and this was fuzzy, the Elton sweater. And then I just got a hoodie that's all sparkly. So it's sparkles and rainbows and fuzzy. I don't know what happened. This has gray and purple in it, Edie, so it's okay. And it's black. It's a black sweater because it has black borders. So we're all good. It's all fine. Yeah, so this is my happy place. I can't stop, and that's okay. And am I going to wear it? Nobody asked that. I'm asking that. I have no idea. It's a pullover vest. I don't wear pullover vests. I suppose I could make it in, I don't know. Sure, I'll wear it because it's going to be beautiful. I'll wear it under my sparkly hoodie, right? Why not? So yeah, that's what I've been working on. So, out of the 40 some, I think I had 49 when I counted last time, and then I counted like 41 or 2 today because I've been not knocking some things off, but literally crossing them off to not do them. And then I've only been working on a couple, and I did buy that other sweater's worth of yarn because why not? I have all the time in the world. So during all that time in the world, Edie, it's going to be too long for you. You can make your own damn sweater. You can take my class. Edie does not need to take my class. So speaking of taking my classes, I've got 2 sets of classes up. One is under my name, Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter. There, I do have a website. Let me find. I prepared a little something for you. It's so exciting. I have. See if I can do it correctly. Nope. Oh, shoot, I screwed up. Let's see if I didn't screw up. Oh, there we go. So in the chat, I think I just put the 4 classes that I'm going to be offering. There's class pages for these on my website, and I put the class page link on that in that. Did I hit the thing? There it goes. Maybe I hit the thing. Did it go? There it is. Okay, phew. I'm all new at this whole technology thing. So please excuse. Yeah, so I have 4 classes, and I'm trying to sort of make them go together, and then I'll have some suggested projects you can do. If and so it's back to Tuesday. It's Tuesdays from 6:30 to 8:30, starting April 6th. And thanks, Nancy. And I hope to be teaching every Tuesday as long as there's not a holiday. But do we have holidays on Tuesdays? Well, voting, we won't teach and vote at the same time. But anywho, starting April 6th. And the first one is going to be Something from Nothing. And Something from Nothing is, I call them closed cast-ons. I don't know if I made that up or if somebody else said that and then I started using it. But cast-ons that start with nothing. So, all right, seriously, Sarah, all cast-ons start with nothing. A project that starts from like the center and goes out. So for example, now this if you look at the picture that's on the website, you can see too, this needs to be steamed. It's been folded, but this is a very small circular shawl. It's a pie shawl for those of you who know what pie shawls are. And it started in the center and went out circularly. So I have no idea what that was, but that's one of those cast-ons that are in the class. There's also the beloved garter stitch tab cast on, which is not necessarily a circular cast on, but it can be. And here I used it. I don't have this yarn anymore, so I'm kind of screwed, but here I used the giant garter stitch tab cast on, and I was making a stuffed animal, but then I forgot I was making the stuffed animal, and I don't know where the rest of the yarn is, so we'll have to buy more yarn, and these are the feet of the stuffed animal. Or they could be, I don't know. But that was the intention. So garter stitch tab can be your friend. We're going to do that. This was a little closed cast on, and then I made a little bag out of it. I did this on the Michigan Flyer, the bus on the way to the Detroit airport one time on my way to a Stitches event. I will tell you that right now. And it matches, so it's like a little phone cozy, although my phone's bigger than this now. I squeezed it in for the photo on my website, and I have an iPad cozy that matches it, so I have color coordinated electronic device cozies. And then the other thing, I learned the Turkish cast on, which is the way that I like to start my toe up socks. So it's very exciting. It looks just like knitting. So there's the theme. There's the Turkish cast on is in the middle there, and then it just looks like I was knitting. So if you do socks from the cuff down, and you don't like to do Kitchener stitch because you haven't taken my class on how wonderful it is yet, then you could start them from the toe up, and this is one of the cast-ons you can use, and it looks just like you did it from the cuff down and did Kitchener stitch. And this is this is one of the examples of me darning my socks. I had cut off the leg and just knit a new foot. So then it did have Kitchener stitch this one did have Kitchener stitch at the bottom. So that was a whole big lie right there. But it looks exactly the same. And I wouldn't lie to you, right? You're my favorite. You're my favorite. Yeah. And so that's some of the knitting, the Something from Nothing, which is closed cast-ons. So there's one called Emily Ockers. There's one called Turkish cast-on. There's, I don't know. There's a bunch. They're listed on the class page. I'm blanking right now. And then the next class I'm going to teach the next week, the 13th, will be pickup lines. And I had fun writing the description. I actually researched pickup lines, and I had to stick to some that were pretty clean, but funny. And that was fun. So pickup lines we're going to talk about and practice. And each of these are just 2 hours. They're just 2-hour technique classes. We're going to practice picking up stitches, both knitwise and purlwise, for, you pick up stitches for a neck opening or for an armhole border thingy. In this case, I picked up the sleeves and worked down, also neckline and button band. For socks, we can pull up a sock again. It's a red one this time. For socks, you pick up, if you do the traditional heel flap, you're picking up around the sides of each side of the heel flap. So there's some picking up of stitches. Knitwise and purlwise, there's pickup and knit, so we'll talk about both of those. Edie, do you remember, she says she met Emily Ocker one time and fangirled over her. I've done that over some people as well. She's somebody's daughter. Well, of course she's somebody's daughter. Somebody who we've heard of. Or maybe not. No, she is. I don't remember who though. Anyway, so that's pickup lines. Oh, and we'll also talk about like the rate at which you pick up and how far in to pick up and how not to get that little pesky hole in the corner of your heel flap or your neck opening. So those would be handy tips. And then also the third one is, oh, I forget. Anybody read my thing? Seymour. Knitting in circles. So knitting in circles is, you know, kind of like the closed cast-ons. Oh, maybe she's somebody's mother. Well, one of those ways. Yeah. Anyway, if somebody knows or remembers, they can put that in the comments for us to figure out later. So knitting in circles is going to be 16 circular, 2 circulars. That's Claire. She has an itch. 16 circular, 2 circulars, magic loop. Medrith Glover is her daughter. Is that correct? Or is that her mother? I forget. Thank you, Liz. That's the name that sounds familiar. I wasn't remembering the name. And double points. So magic loop, 2 circs, 16-inch circular, double points. And then there's also things, there's flexi flips and there's little teeny circulars, but different ways to knit in the round, different tools to use to knit in the round so that you'll have options. You don't have to like all of them, but if you try them, then you'll have options. So maybe you don't have time to go out and get a 16-inch circular size 4 to finish the hat in time for the shower, but you might have a 32-inch size 4, or you might have double points, or you might have whatever, 2 circs. There you go. So then you can do that instead. Or you'll decide you absolutely adore magic loop and you'll go out and buy all 40-inch circular needles. It's up to you, but you can sample them in the knitting in circles class, and then that would be the 20th of April, and then the 27th I'll be doing another one called stripes, and more stripes. Very clever. And that one's going to talk about, here's another thing we'll do in this knitting in circles class, is learning how to join without twisting, because that's what happens if you don't join without twisting. We want to avoid that, unless you don't want to avoid that. And no, that's not a Mobius. A Mobius is something else. That one has 2 twists. Here, I'll teach you something. That one has 2 twists. This is if you cast on and turn and sew together. That is not a Mobius. Is that true? If you cast on and twist your knitting around the needle and keep going, that is not a Mobius, because it twists twice. Of true Mobius only twists once. So yeah, I guess you can sew it to get it there. But yeah, that is not a Mobius. It's just twisted knitting. Stripes, and more stripes. So this is a thing. Those are jogs in stripes and also in the beginning. And these are things, yeah, been there, done that, says Jennifer. So have I, and recently, and that's just not supposed to happen, right? I'm a trained professional. So just because I know how to not do it doesn't mean that I don't do it. There's a lot of negatives in there. But yeah, so jogs in your stripes. We're going to talk about ways to eliminate or mask. Some are better than others. Bye, Edie. Talk to you later. The jogs that you get when knitting in the round, and ways to avoid them or not get them, or ways to just totally camouflage them entirely. And then when to cut your yarn. Like here's one of my sweater design sweaters that is sort of stagnating right now, but well, here on the edge, which edge has the ends, when to cut these strands and when not to cut the strands. Like how far can you carry the strands up? So that's what one of the things we're going to talk about. There's something called helix knitting, which has to do with a single color stripe, and you can make it, so here's the jog at the beginning and the end. I cannot make this camera bend to my will. Okay. But nowhere in between, right? It's magic. And you can do this in more than one color. And that's super cool. knitting in circles. So knitting in circles, stripes, and the closed cast-ons can all play nicely together. My vision is that we can, I can throw a pattern together for you that starts at the top with a closed cast-on and your small circumference knitting. I feel like I'm doing the breaking the egg on my head thing. And then, and we'll put a helix stripe in it and it'll go down and be a hat. And then we can make matching mitts on a small circumference choice of needles and the helix knitting too. And then that would be fun. So that's my plan. So that would kind of tie all of those except the picking up stitches. I'm not sure what I thought with throwing that in there, but that's my plan for those classes. Oh, and then I just have a sample of a top down. You can't even tell, but this was knit from the top down. So some kind of fancy closed cast on in the middle. I don't remember which one. And then knit from the top down. And this has stripes, but it doesn't really have stripes. Oh, and we can talk about that too. So I'll put that in the stripe pile. You'll have to take the class to find out the secret about that. So those are the 4 that I have on my schedule right now. Right now, live. You can take the classes. Whoops, I made you go away. There you are. Glad I didn't just close the window entirely. Yeah, so those are on my schedule. And by my schedule, here, I'm going to put another link in there. I happen to have on my website a calendar page. It's a Google Calendar page. And everything on it is where you can find me. I'm either teaching a class or working at the shop. If I'm working at Woven Art, it'll say Shop Girl on it. If I'm teaching a class, it would have the name of the class on it and when it's happening. And maybe if I tried really hard, it has a link to information about the class. But all of my classes are on the Sarah Peasley Hand Knitter website. And new and improved, you can actually sign up for them and pay for them there now. And then I'm also teaching for a Stitches event in April. So I wanted to tell you about those classes. So like back in the day when we all could leave the house and travel to these places, they were, you know, East Coast, West Coast, Chicago, Atlanta, and we couldn't at Texas, and we couldn't necessarily all go to them. But now you can, because I'm still sitting in the same office. It's not an office. Well, it is an office. This is the Zoom studio. This is the seated studio, let's go mobile. The standing studio. It's a mess, but it's right there. So that's where I'm standing when I'm doing my standing up classes. That was the tour that you get. And let's plug in. Centered again. So yeah, so whether I'm teaching a Sarah Peasley hand knitter class or a Stitches class, I'm still standing here in this room. And they're the same price too, basically. I throw a little extra on to pay for my Zoom subscription. That's a little secret. That's what that $5 is. But otherwise, I think they're even comparable prices. So you can be in your pajamas and take a class from me here. Or you can be in your pajamas and take a class from me as if I were on the East Coast or the West Coast, but none of us actually are because it's all just virtual now, for now. And it's working out well. Anyway, so the classes I'm teaching in April, that event is April 9, 10, and 11 this year, happening right here in my room. And all of the class times on their website, oh, let me put that, I just happen to have that one ready too. All of the class times on their website are Central Time because they, being XRX, are located in South Dakota, which is Central Time. So it gets confusing. On my calendar, you'll see them in Eastern Time, although I think I fixed it so that no matter where you are, you'll see it in your time. I could use some validation or verification of that. Not validation. But I'll tell you what I'll be teaching there. And then I've got one more event to tell you about, and then we're done. So I'll be teaching Reading Your Knitting. This is at the Stitches event, April 9, 10, and 11. Reading Your Knitting, which is something I wish I had taken a zillion years ago. It's, reading your knitting. So looking at your knitting and being familiar with what your cast on looks like and how to count your rows and whether you just did a decrease or not. So learning to look at your knitting. That's been a really valuable, I've gotten a lot of really good feedback on that class, saying basically, where has this class been all my life, which is what I wondered too. That's why I taught it. Another one, I'm not saying these in the right order, and that's okay. Another one is creating a schematic from your closet. If you've taken any of my sweater design classes, you know that that's what I do. I start with something that fits me well or that I like the look of, and that's what I knit. Um, so for example, the black sleeveless Eddie Bauer shell is my perfect fitting body sweater base. So this has become a lot of other garments. Like most of my designs that aren't published anywhere are based on that shirt. Um, oh, and that reminds me. So one of them is right here beside me. I was going to show you this. Hi, Clara. Sorry, I disturbed her nap because this is one of them. Okay, with the sadly discontinued Longwood Sport yarn. But this is another reason to take the pickup lines class because then you can pick up for your sleeves. That was another. I wanted to show you that. Another reason to be able to pick up stitches. Okay, so creating a schematic from your closet involves finding something you want to replicate and drawing a picture of it, and we take measurements. So I'll talk to you about all the things you'd need to measure to have enough information to move on from there. And then another class is block party. Block party is blocking, duh. So how to wash and block your fabrics, your knitted items. For your best results, and talking about a little bit about different fiber types in there. And we'll do wet blocking and steam blocking, and we'll actually block something during class, so that's really exciting. No, really, it's really exciting. Let's see, and the set in, yeah, conveniently that sleeve that I just showed you, we're going to do that in class, a class called, well, it has a long name, I have to read it. Seamless set-in sleeves, from custom fit armhole to flawless sleeve cap. And I get to teach this over 2 sessions. So this is a 4-hour class and you have a little bit of knitting in between. I think one's a Saturday and one's a Sunday. And so the first day will be sculpting the armhole to fit you or whoever. And then the second class will be picking up and working the sleeve cap from the top down. No sewing at all. So that'll be cool. And I also have 2 more. I have basic intarsia techniques, which is why I had the Christmas stocking out, which I've now lost again. Uh-huh. Yep, but you already saw it. It's here somewhere. Honestly, where could it have gone? Right here. So intarsia is knitting a picture into more like a background. It is not the same as, oh, by the way, have you seen this? This is not intarsia, this is Fair Isle. So with Fair Isle, you're stranding, you're carrying your colors all the way across the back. You don't have to twist anything, although people try to and they're not supposed to. And with intarsia, you don't have to, you're not carrying them all the way across. This was fake intarsia with some carrying across. So it's just one layer you're not carrying across, but you do have to twist. So for example, well, here's everybody's favorite Argyle, right? Oop. And those diamonds are just where you see the diamonds on the front and the back. And then the light diamonds, the light overlay, the single stitches, those are duplicate stitch. So that's, excuse me, a little bonus you'll learn in the intarsia class. That's not really intarsia. So that's how you could put the names on without fake knitting them in. They're actually knitted in, but just not ideally. And here's another intarsia example. It can take a lot of different forms. So it can be Argyle, it can be Santa, one of the categories of intarsia. It can be just some kind of geometric color blocking. This is one colorway of Noro Silk Garden that's just done from different parts of the ball in diagonal columns. My friend Irene Armach made a sweater for her husband out of this. I used to borrow her sweater, but then I got smart and knit a swatch so I wouldn't have to borrow the sweater anymore. Sometimes it takes me a while. And this is another, just a graphic picture representation of a flower. I free drew that. I drew it freehand. Wow. On some graph paper, some knitter's graph paper, and then I knit it. So that's another kind of intarsia. It's just a representation of like Santa, for example. Okay. Or candy canes. Yeah. So the intarsia class, that's another stitches class. And then one more, And I taught this a month or so ago here, and that was my little buttons and zippers class. So you learn how to put in a zipper and how to sew on different kinds of buttons. I have my earbuds in here. That's where they are. They were lost. Yeah, so you're going to sew on different types of buttons, 4-hole, 2-hole, not a real big difference there, and then shanked. And then we're going to learn how to shank buttons as well if they don't already have a shank. This is the one I was sewing. Oh good, I found the needle. I was putting this one together in the last class, and then I didn't finish. I never finish. Are you kidding me? That's why I have so many projects. So those are all the classes I'm teaching for stitches. The not in this order: reading your knitting, block party, creating a schematic from your closet, seamless set-in sleeves, and that's top down, buttons and zippers, and basic intarsia techniques. So those I believe I put all in. Yep, Stitches Expo at Home. And Stitches Expo at Home would be like the events used to be. There's a market and a bunch of classes, and they're shorter classes. The other thing they do is Stitches at Home, which is a little confusing without the word expo, and that is more of a two-weekend maybe, multi-session, more intensive class on one subject with one instructor. Which is fun. And I'll be doing that in May, but I can't tell you what that is yet because I didn't announce it. And then one other thing, I'll get a linky dinky for you. I can't believe I just said linky dinky. Is in July, I'll be teaching for Fiber World. And I haven't taught for them before, but it's a very well run thing. It's early to tell you about it, and I can't tell you what I'm teaching, but they are doing fun things already. So they did some March Madness events with, instead of basketball teams, they used vendors. And I don't know what else they have up. They've had, sorry, stink bug. They've had they have some creatively drawn mascots that there was a naming contest, and there's been all kinds of fun stuff. So I don't know what else they have planned, but I'm having fun finding out, and I'll be teaching for them in July. So that's on my schedule just as Fiber World. It doesn't have classes yet. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go knit on my colorful vest. So thank you for joining me again, and I hope to see you soon. So, and if you have any other questions, hi Briam. If you have any other questions, just pop them in there or send them to me. You know how to find me. There's a contact me page on my website as well. Okay. Bye, guys.